Today we're going to talk about how to do the scoring for running back position for fantasy football. First thing, start at my website, hover over 7th grade, and scroll down and select Math Fantasy Football. Next, click on the football link, which will open up the fantasy football scores. Important to know, it always opens up on the week that is coming up, or currently going on. So in this case, it opens up on week 2, but our stats are actually in the previous week, week 1. So I need to make sure I click week 1 and that I'm at the correct spot. I'm going to look up today, David Johnson, running back for Arizona. So I don't see Arizona there, so I've got to scroll down. And there's Arizona. I'm going to click box because that's what brings up the scores. The others do not. Nothing shows up at the start, so I need to scroll down, and then I'm going to look on the Arizona side. So I'm going to look for D. Johnson. When I look for D. Johnson, he's not going to be in the passing because he's not a quarterback. He's a running back. So he's going to be in the rushing, and he could be in the receiving. So if I look right here, he had a great game. He had 89 yards and he had 1 touchdown. Those are the important pieces of info that I need. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to start the score. So I'm going to write for my running back position, D. Johnson. And he's Arizona. Now, I'm going to go back. Let's make sure we have our score. So we know he had 89 yards and 1 touchdown. So now we're going to go back. He had 89 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. Now, remember, he could be written in the wide receiver info. So I'm going to have to double check and look at that. When I do look at that, if I scroll down, I'm going to see his name right here. He did have a receiving amount. He had 43 yards. So that's huge. So since he had 43 yards, I'm going to add that in the receiving section. Now, he's not a quarterback, so he's not going to have interceptions. But he could have fumbles. So in order to find fumbles are listed down towards the bottom. Right here are fumbles. Is his name listed? No. So he had no fumbles. So that means I'm going to put a 0 there. Now, he is an offensive player. So he's going to be using the offensive formula for the scores. So if you look, you're going to follow touchdowns. Now, P for passing yards, you're not going to have because he's not a quarterback. Only quarterbacks have those. R stands for rushing and C stands for receiving. So he has both of those. So now we're going to just plug everything in. He had 1 touchdown, so 6 times 1 plus 3 times our rushing and our receiving yards. The rule states that I need to take those and divide by 10 and round to the nearest whole number. So 89 divided by 10 is 8.9, which is the same thing as 9. His receiving yards is 43. So I'm going to take 43 divided by 10, and I get 4 3/10, which rounded to the nearest whole number is 4. Now, he didn't have any fumbles, so I could write this, but I know that that means 0, so it's not going to affect my answer. So I can actually keep it off if I don't have any fumbles. Now, here's where students always mess up, so be careful. You must do what's in the parentheses first. So 9 plus 4 is 13. Bring everything down. Here's the next part where students make mistakes. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 times 13 is 39. It's not 6 plus 3 times 13. You have to do those two separately. 6 plus 39 gives you a total score of 45. So he earned 45 points.